Greetings, ladies and gentlefish, and welcome to this subscriber replay featuring the Tier 9 British medium tank, the Centurion 7/1, brought to you by Makara. Now, this is a tank that the Centurion Mark 7 is a tank that I've actually recently unlocked myself. I haven't purchased it yet. I was kind of waiting for it to be on discount, but I have now unlocked this little machine, and if it plays something even vaguely similarly to the Centurion Mark 1, I think I'll have a lot of fun in it. Now, we are here on, I can't remember the name of the map. Sacred Valley, there we go. And it's an encounter game. So we have the capture circle down in the south. Looking at the team setup, the enemy team has slightly more heavy tanks. Mac's team have slightly more medium tanks, but it's basically a balanced match-off in terms of vehicle type. And Mac is going to come over to what would generally be considered the heavy tank brawling zone, but he's actually moving over to this little ridgeline here because the Centurion Mark 7 has a relatively decent frontal turret. Mac's Centurion is fully upgraded, so he is also packing the 105mm Royal Ordnance L7A1 gun, which historically was a badass gun, and in the game is a badass gun. And there we go, first shot into that ISU 152. Now, the nice thing about using this position is that the little ridge line here allows Mac to go hull down. So just expose his frontal turret and his... that one didn't hit. Frontal turret and his angled upper front plate, which on this tank is pretty good. I think it's something like 130mm plus any angling. It ends up being pretty decent. And hello, Mr. Rheinmetall Borsig. No shot on him. ISU, badoing. And that was a very slim shot. But this gun is rather accurate. The only really bad points about this gun are that, certainly when mounted on this tank, the bloom values for moving the turret are not great. And the rate of fire also leaves a bit to be desired. Now, one risk that Mac is taking here is that he could get nailed by artillery. Hello, Mr. Borsig, how are you? Borsig misses, Mac hits, Borsig dies. And, there's quite a lot of bad guys over here. Ho-hum. That shot at the front of the KV-4's turret, well, it could have done the business, but I'd have probably switched targets to something else, if I'm honest. Mac appears to be going there for the turret roof of the IS-3, which is very weak and can be overmatched by a Chaffee of all tanks. So, providing the shot goes where he aims it, and the range isn't too bad, and this gun is quite accurate, that spot shouldn't prove any problems for this gun. There's an IS-8 up above there who is being a bit of a nuisance, and basically Mac's team are being quite heavily pressured here. That was a bad shot into the IS-6. That was just straight into the IS-6's tracks. Mac could have spent a couple more seconds to aim that one a little bit better. That one goes into his tracks though. And hello, Mr. Pershing. Yeah, that's not going to work out very well for you. Pershing does, however, penetrate Mac's Centurion. So Mac moves backwards, comes forward again, tracks eat another shot, and he puts one more into the lower plate of the Pershing. But Mac takes some damage in the process from the IS-8, which is a little bit painful. I mean, the Centurion has enough health to soak a few shots. It's got 1720 health, which is not too shabby. But obviously you don't want to get shot if you don't have to. IS-8 doesn't have the best gun depression, certainly not as good as Mac's, and that's going to leave a mark. Hello, Mr. IS-3, you sure you want to be doing this? I'm not sure you should be. There we go, Mac puts a shot in, doesn't take any damage in return, but the guy manages to rush through. So Mac is kind of playing a bit like a heavy tank here, if we're going to be honest. I mean, you could do a very similar deal here, trading some of the mobility away for increased turret armor, but you could be doing a very similar thing here in a T-29 or in a T-32 or something like that. Mac takes some pain for his troubles. That left a mark. But shot into the rear of the IS-3 finishes him off. And the scoreline is now 11-7. So Mac's done his heavy tank duty here, despite the fact that he's in a medium. He's going to back off and let other people take the brunt of the fire. which is entirely understandable, as he's sacrificed 1,200 of his health to, well, tank shots for the team, basically, and be a heavy tank. As, on this flank at least, Mac's team were fairly heavily outnumbered, and tanks such as the E75 had gone an entirely different way. So Mac is going to relocate at this point. I mean, that is a very awkward position to be in. If Mac moves forward to try and engage the IS-8, he risks getting shot in the side from the Jagdtiger, and if he moves around to try and engage the Jagdtiger, he's going to take shots in the rear from the IS-8. So instead, while the Centurion Mark 7 is not the fastest tank in the world, it is still a medium tank. Move. Now Mac could have... that wasn't the best aimed shot. I appreciate Mac was trying not to take damage in return, but as it turns out, he takes 2 88mm rounds from the Jagdtiger anyway for his troubles. So it didn't really pay off. There's the IS-8 in question. They lost the Jagdtiger, who was hopefully going to defend Mac. That was an unlucky bounce, to be honest. The IS-8's frontal armour is not fantastic. You can penetrate it with far less penetration than this gun gets. That shot, however, did go in, but now Mac is in a slightly awkward position. He needs to back off so that the IS-8 doesn't kill him. Oh! I was going to say, but the Jagdtiger could nail him. But the Jagdtiger isn't there anymore. So this IS-8 should be completely screwed now. There we go, kill number 2. And that just leaves the artillery for Mac to have a go at, or anyone else who is going to be in the vicinity. Now at this point, I would be tempted to load one of the various different varieties of high explosive that this tank gets. Now it's British, it gets HESH, high explosive squash head. It gets 2 different varieties. There's a regular version and there's a premium version. Both of them have quite high penetration. The premium version has very high penetration. And Mac's going to be an utter sport. The E75 says cap please, and Mac is asking, is it for a mission? The guy says yes, and so Mac's going, alright, cool, that's fine. It's very rare you see something like that. But it warms the cockles of your heart when you do see it. So, for me, that's the most impressive thing about this replay, to be honest. The fact that Mac could have gone off and killed that artillery piece, but he's specifically not. He's driving back to the capture circle. And this is an encounter game. Cap goes up quite slowly. He's driving back there in a Centurion to help the E75 cap. Now, one thing that's worth bearing in mind, that M12 has derped to death the last 2 people who tried to take him out. And he's probably going to be reloading for a bit. I think the Jagdpanther's probably going to kill this artillery. And I mean, in this situation, the Jagdpanther's now there. What's he going to do? Sit there and let the artillery kill him? No kill, cap all, Mac writes in chat. Despite the fact that they weren't able to cap and help the E75 complete his mission, Mac attempted to, and that's, I think, commendable, that he tried to help the guy out. Tried to give the guy a hand, because those capping missions, this is before patch 9.8, so this is before they changed those missions. Now you can complete those missions by getting reset points on your own capture circle, but at the time you couldn't. You had to sit in the enemy capture circle, and it was a right pain in the backside. Anyway, there we go. Very nicely played game from Mac there. Let's go and see how well he actually did. So there we go, that was an ace tanker for Mac in the Centurion. Fire for effect, I think that's Hand of God and Bruiser, along with a Confederate, a steel wall, which you can pick up in these British medium tanks, and a high caliber. 5,005 damage done, 2 kills, 1,308 base experience, which very easily puts Mac at the top of either team, whether you consider experience or damage done. 19 shots fired, which considering the reload time on this 105mm gun is not too shabby. 18 hits, 13 penetrations. There were a couple of shots there that were unlucky not to penetrate, but there were also a couple that I think Mac could have aimed slightly more carefully in order to get that 5,000 damage. He received 11 hits, of which 6 penetrated and 5 did not, for a total of 915 damage blocked by armour. 1,400 odd assistance damage on top of that, spotted 2 enemy tanks, damaged 8, destroyed 2, and made a profit of 11,000 credits with a standard account, which when you consider this is a tier 9 game, the ammunition is not cheap, neither are the repair costs, isn't too bad. With a premium account that would have been 36,000 credit profit. So, nicely played there from Mac. Like I say, if I were to criticise it in any way, I would say that one or two of those shots could have been aimed a little bit better. But a very good game overall, and a lovely display of sportsmanship at the end. So very, very well done. I hope you guys enjoyed that replay. If you did, please feel free to catch some of my other videos and or subscribe to my channel. And I wish you very happy hunting on that battlefield. Ciao, ciao.